Hey man, I go by the name of Smokey, Garvin.
Everything I do is so major. Yeah, yeah. Everything I do is so major. Yeah, yeah. Everything I do is so major. Hey.
Welcome to the Unpleasant Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host, Shampoo, aka Big Shampoo.
It's your boy, Sly the Guy No Lie.
And we got another guest with us today. Let them know who you are, what it is that you do, and where they can find you.
Hey man, I go by the name of Smokey Garvin. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? But you can find me on Instagram, 24 FPS, 24 frames per second hand. It's a long Instagram name, so I just like be having a hard time telling people, you know what I'm saying, how to find me. But yeah, man, just tapping accordingly, you know what I'm saying? Audio Dope Smoke for the music. Couple different grams, man.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate you coming out, man.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man. You know what I'm
Up.
saying? I love this platform, man, so it's an honor to, you know what I'm saying, finally see it. No doubt.
Watch somebody who do the same thing, work the camera like we work the camera, and
Yes,
get to hear a different perspective on it. So we're going to go ahead, jump right into it. Go ahead and tell us where you grew up at and how you grew up, man.
Okay, so, man, I grew up on Benning Road, Ward 7. You know what I'm saying? Mom's, you know, she did a good job in making sure I stayed out the streets. You know what I'm saying? So she had me in a lot of different activities, just making sure I was well-rounded. And then I went off to school, ended up dropping out early. I went to school for communications. Shout out to Elizabeth City State University. Shout out DJ Bree Mafia. That's the homie from back in school. So, yeah, man, I met a lot of good people while I was down there, but I didn't get to finish. So, you know what I mean? Once I came back to D.C., I was doing a lot of, like, dead-end jobs and really just trying to figure out what's next for me. I always done music, so I was like, okay, I know a lot of people. How can I translate that into dollars? You know what I'm saying? How can I really turn those likes into dollar signs? So that's how I ended up with the camera, man.
All right, so like that journey right there. So you came back. I know that realization of coming back, you know, getting all that networking before, and then come back to real life.
Yeah.
And you working like this shit ain't panning out.
Yeah, man, it was tough, man. I fucked around, had a daughter in between that time, so I really got to see the bottom before I really started making my rise to the top. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I think a lot of those situations kind of helped build that character. So when I finally got to this point, you know what I'm saying, I kind of knew how to handle it a lot better, had more patience, had more understanding, wisdom, shit like that.
How many years you had with the camera before you started taking it serious?
So I graduated from McKinney Tech. Shout out McKinney, class of 2012.
That's like a Institute for Art.
You know what I'm saying? So they did science, technology, engineering, and math.
Okay.
And
a lot of smart people go there.
Yeah, man. It was tough getting that joint. It was between Tech or Banneker. My neighborhood school was H.D. Woodson.
Yeah.
But mom's, like I said, she just really didn't want me to have to go through those different things. So she said, you know, you can go to Tech or you can go to Banneker. And Banneker was for the super smart kids. You know what I'm saying? Tech was for, you know what I'm saying? You was smart, but, you know what I'm saying? It was a little bit more leeway. You know what I mean? It was a little bit more leeway. And yeah, man, I met a lot of dope people in there. Shout out my man Malik, the owner of Eat. You know what I'm saying? Shout out 100 M's. Man, the list goes on, man. But yeah, shout out to everybody from Tech that's doing their thing, man. I see y'all, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So that journey going there, like when you got the camera, what you start shooting first?
Oh, man.
You know, you pick it up, just like, just got this.
Yeah, I think my first camera, I was with a group, and I'm not going to say their name because that's free promotion, but I was with a group, and I really did like a lot of the engineering and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, since I'm already kind of like doing the engineering shit, we needed videos. So I was like, all right, we ain't really trying to pay nobody to do the videos and shit because we ain't had no budget like that.
Right.
So I picked up a little Canon like T5 or some shit. T5 or T3, something. It was some entry level shit. And we just went out there and shot, man. And my boy, he was kind of, he knew a little bit about editing. So me and him, we just kind of sat down together. And before you know it, we was doing music videos. You know what I mean? It wasn't the best. But there was music, it was content, and people was able to kind of see the music and really kind of put a face to who we were. So that was kind of like the bottom level. You know what I mean?
Getting your feet wet.
Yeah, just getting the feet wet, getting the understanding for what B-roll is, or getting the understanding for what a performance shot is, or how frame rate works. You know what I mean? Things like that, ISO and all these terms that have
Foreground, background, midground.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. It was just that kind of like introduction to that. So man, I appreciate those times. Like I said, that built a lot of character, man, because I was able to do a lot with a little. Yeah.
Say, as far as cameras, is there a certain camera that you prefer to use now, or do you like switch it up?
Man, that's tough, man. I spend countless hours just looking at cameras, man, every night. So right now I shoot with a Panasonic. I got the Lumix, I got the G85, and then a GH4. So anybody who knows anything about cameras, those aren't really like the newest joints, but they do what I need them to do. As far as like what I really want, I'm looking at that Sony A7 III. That joint is a full frame, you know what I'm saying? Autofocus, super reliable. Sensor is real, like the real sensitive sensor, so I get good low light performance. Cause we do like a lot of club events and a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Light fixtures interact with your life.
You see what I'm saying?
Snap,
exactly. So I'm trying to get something to where I'm in these places and I'm not really too much second guessing what's gonna come out of the shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But yeah,
make
so
it work easier, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So to answer your question, Sony A7 III, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's probably like it's 4 or 5 out by now, but I try to go like behind so that way I'm still keeping it in the budget. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's kind of smart too, because like you're gonna jump into some software you didn't even get experience that's already added on to some shit.
You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So baby steps as far as that goes. But yeah, man, I want to graduate from the smaller sensors to the more full frame. Okay. Yeah.
So what have your camera taken you, man? What have a camera taken you?
Oh man, so shit, that's crazy, man. I got my first residency this year. That was at the Howard Theater.
Oh, shout out to Howard Theater.
Yeah, shout out to Howard Theater. My boy A-Love.
That's historic, man.
Yeah, historic, man. I grew up partially in like that northwest area. I was born at Howard University Hospital.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's a full circle moment to be able to shoot at that venue, man. There's a artist, Pender, Demont Pender, I believe that's his name. He does like a lot of the art for like the downstairs section. And I mean, this guy's phenomenal, man. So every time you go in there, you just get inspired. But yeah, so Howard Theater is one of my spots that I frequent. Songbird, I got the opportunity to shoot there this year. I like Songbird. Shout out to Nature Boy Open Gym. They got a good thing going on. They just celebrated 5 years and they did a show at the Fillmore. That was crazy. You know what I mean? So shout out to them. DC9, I shot there with DJ Not For Real. Shout out Not For Real. Like I said, Bree Mafia, the whole clip.
That's the networking.
Yeah, man. So just really just trying to immerse myself in the culture. I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've done in the past has been more like behind like the microphone, but now that I'm really behind the camera, I can capture more things and more people and network. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that's the most important thing, man. Touching bases with different people that I would have never met had I not picked up the camera.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For sure. Like the camera, like let me see how I'm trying to frame the question. Like how do people choose to come to you? You know what I mean? Like you got the residencies and like your work speaking, but like what made you think drew them to you?
That's a good question, man. That's a good question. Shit. I would say word of mouth.
Okay.
Right? So everything goes back to the music because that's what my foundation is. So like basically people tell their peoples about you. Like my man, he do this. My man, he do that. And generally, if you're a pretty good judge of character, you know what I'm saying? People gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna fuck with him because I trust your judgment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I know you're not gonna put me in no fucked up position. Mm-hmm. I know you're not just gonna put me on with anybody. You know I work hard for my money, so if it's time to spend it, you're gonna put me in the right place. Okay. So I believe a lot of that is really where it comes from. And just like I said, just being in the music world, man. Like I put so much work in on that side that it kind of like was like a cheat code. So when it was like, oh, you doing this now too? I bet. You know what I'm saying? Because we know you can crank on the mic. So we know you fucking, you know what I'm saying? You gonna fuck some shit up when it comes to anything else, man.
Since you put the music up, how you get into that then?
Oh, man, so...
And what came first? You was doing the music first or the camera?
Yeah, music first.
I seen music, I feel like almost like 7 years or something like that? Or?
Yeah, so I've been doing music about 10 years. Yeah. My mom got me into that. Like I said, just trying to get me out the streets. Started off in the choir. Shout out to Alex Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? That's my girl, man.
Yeah.
So
Watch her come up too.
Man, we was in choir rehearsal one day, and the music director of Suitland, she went to Suitland. I ain't go to Suitland, but I was just networking, doing the choir shit. And the music director said, Alex, what's this note? He played the note on the piano. She was like, oh, this is C sharp. And I'm like, what the fuck? So she got perfect pitch. A lot of people don't know that about her. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Alex Vaughn. But just being in the choir, that kind of like was like my introduction to music. Then I got a little bit older. I was doing basketball. When I got to tech, I wanted to do basketball, but I wasn't tall enough for that shit. So I was like, fuck it.
I'm not even tall enough for that.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to just go ahead and be singing the national anthems and shit and doing that type of shit. You know what I mean? And Go-Go was heavy at that time.
Man, you already know
Yeah. So I sang for a Go-Go band for a while. And I just did anything that had anything to do with music, man. That was kind of like my main thing. And it wasn't until the beginning of 2021, my New Year's resolution was I'm gonna learn how to do videography. The year prior to that, I had learned production, so I was making my own beats, and I got bored with that. So just really just the music, man, it kind of just introduced me to everything else.
So yeah, your music, what would you call it? I was like a chill vibe. You got like a chill, relaxed vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like I can smoke my J, relax to this. I ain't got to do 70 miles to this joint. I can do my 50 and cruise. You know?
Facts. So I mean, essentially, I'm inspired a lot by like the Currencies.
Okay.
I'm inspired as far as like production by like your Cardos, your Sledrins. Shout out to my boy R&B Justice out of Chicago. That's like my brother, man. We've been working for like the last 3 years consistently, and he really got me like sonically there, to where I could kind of like sit behind the piano and really make my own beats. But yeah, man, just really influenced by the Midwest, the West Coast, and then Go-Go. That's the number one influence. That bounce, you know what I mean? That bounce and Go-Go is just like it's a BPM that speaks to the heart of all native DMV Washingtonians. You know what I mean? It's just like
you know frequency, man. Frequency is what it is.
Yeah, man. When you hear that bounce, like when you got Wale doing songs like "Shorty Got a Big Old Butt." You know what I'm saying? When we was in North Carolina, people was like, why do they love this shit? But it's not for them to understand. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the know to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just taking that culture that we have here, mixing it with the cultures from other places that have inspired me and influenced me growing up, that was pretty much it.
So when you're doing your music, your creative process, do you write?
Oh, that's a good question. So I was writing up until the beginning of 2022. I feel like maybe like the last month of 2021 was where I kind of like broke up with the writing phase. And the only reason I did that was because I was working with an artist by the name of A-Love out of Arlington, Virginia. And that's how I was able to link up with Currency and everybody like that. He's real connected to everybody in the industry, man, and he's independent. You know what I mean? That's why I love this brother, man, because he don't let nothing stop him. Like, he's going full force with everything. Michael Rocks from the Cool Kids, that's like one of his homies. And he's really just one of those people that's immersed into the underground culture of the nation. You know what I mean? Just not in this area.
In the trenches with the music.
Right. And so, essentially, I guess to answer your question, it's just more so the idea where, you know, when you link up with different artists, you kind of pick up from them, right? And so while I'm in the studio with him, this guy's freestyling everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, damn, bro, that's how you making your music? He like, yeah, essentially. I just press record. If I don't like it, I re-record it, whatever the case may be. So after doing a couple sessions with him, going to his crib and working with him like just real close, I was just like, you know what? Fuck writing. You know what I'm saying? Because I had been writing for so long, anything that I felt like I could write, I could just say off my head. And then if I want to delete it, I can just delete it. If I want to keep it, I can keep it. So, yeah, man, Majorly Independent, that's my last project that I dropped. That whole joint, freestyle, you know what I'm saying? And you can tell by like a lot of the hooks, just real simple hooks. You know what I mean?
Like writing too hard sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like it's better when it just flows, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is art. It's meant to be just from the heart. It's meant to flow. You know, what I rap about, I'm not lying about the shit. Like, I rap about cameras. I rap about charging booking fees.
Living a good
You know what I
life,
mean?
man.
Yeah.
Life,
Like,
yeah.
I rap about what I live, you know what I'm saying? I rap about fly shit, you know what I'm saying? So I try to make sure that when I'm freestyling, it's not anything that's made up. You know what I mean? It's just like, look, I got an old school, you know what I'm saying? I got a new joint, you know what I mean? I got both joints, you know what I'm saying? So depending on how the vibe of the song is, I might be rapping about the joint I just got, or I might be rapping about the joint that I've been had. You know what I'm saying? It just all depends on the context, and I really just go based off the beat, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times when I'm in the studio, I got everything set up in my living room. So I sit down.
Everything else.
Yeah, everything in house, man. I try not to. So COVID really forced that upon me, right?
Yeah,
I know y'all probably.
COVID changed the whole
Yeah. COVID really forced that
Was that
upon me.
quick?
Yeah.
Quick. That's what the essential meant for everybody. I don't
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody else.
Exactly. So
Yep.
you know what I mean? I'm scared to go to the studios. I'm scared to do a lot of stuff. So that being in the house really forced me to learn a lot of new shit that I wouldn't have learned had COVID not happened. You know what I'm saying? I still be relying on the engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I still be relying on the producer. I still be relying on the videographer. You know what I'm saying? And just being able to sit down, learn those skills. Like I said, when I'm in the living room, sit down, get the beat together, boom. I make the beat probably like 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Try not to think too much about anything, bruh. Because then at that point, I feel like it's forced. And it's not from the heart. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I already know what my style is. I know what my sound is. So it's just a matter of just putting that shit together, looping that shit. All right, what's my hook? How I'm feeling today? Lose it all and I get it right back. I bet. So I know this song is going to be about adversity.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be about, you know what I'm saying, having to start from ground zero multiple times, but still being able to come back and get everything that you lost. You know what I'm saying? And so I got a lot of homies who kind of had the same setup as me. So it's like, all right, I'm about to send this to you. Ain't no deadline. I know they probably send it back in 2 to 3 days. In the next 2 weeks, I got a 6-7 track project. I feel like dropping some shit today. You know what I'm saying? That's just how this shit is.
Yeah,
it's just real organic. You know what I mean?
That's great because some artists kind of slow up, right? You know what I mean? Like nowadays, I feel like artists get the nice little buzz.
Yeah.
You know, and the buzz is a buzz, a little quick little.
Yeah.
And then shoom, down right out. Not because nobody not fuck with them. They just don't even build their own heat. They don't
they're not consistent.
They don't throw no more fire to it, more wood to the flame. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I feel like if you even gonna drop it, everybody not gonna fuck with everything, right?
Right.
I tell everybody, all you need is one hit.
That's
This
it.
motherfuckers that was in the 70s and 80s got one hit.
Yeah. And we listen to that shit to this day.
And they still tour.
To this day.
Tour.
Nah,
One song? 4 minutes? Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, 20 band, gone.
Nah, facts.
Right. One hit.
That's nothing but the truth, man.
Yeah.
We've seen that countless times. And I think that the thing that I'm trying to build is longevity, right? Where it's like, okay, I don't plan on ever signing a deal. You know what I'm saying? It's no amount of money that you can give me that I feel like I'm worth. Like, I feel like I'm worth more than anything anybody can ever give me. So I'd rather just keep that to myself as opposed to having to, you know what I'm saying, pay it out unknowingly or against my will. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't take like a partnership thing, like a
distribution.
Yeah,
A distribution.
Like that.
A distribution is probably the farthest that I would go. Just because, you know, I think that's really all you need to succeed. You know, distribution is something that I do not negate. I feel like, you know, if you get a distribution deal, that's great. But as far as like a record deal, I feel like no artist should be looking for that, especially in 2023, because we have the power. You know what I'm saying? They gave us all the tools, but you got to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, that consistency. A lot of people just drop one project and think that's going to carry them over, but it's like you got people out here that's dropping a project every month. You got some people that's dropping a project every 2 weeks.
You know what
I'm saying?
Go probably don't even drop a project, but go through and perform at a club every night.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's so many different ways,
yeah.
right? So many different ways. And with this video shit, what that shit did was basically just kind of put a bigger battery in the back where it's like, okay, now you can knock out your own visuals. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got your camera operated, you good to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So when you writing the songs, do you like visualize the videos like as you're doing?
Oh,
like, not
definitely.
writing them, but you know.
Nah, definitely. I think a part of the freestyle process includes the video. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like as I'm rapping, like, okay, what would look good on screen? You know what I'm saying? So like, I said on one of my songs, catch me out in DC smoking joints with Currency, right? And I knew like in a couple of months the Currency was gonna be coming to DC and I was gonna be shooting that. So I was already kind of like scripting how that would look. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, when he come, you know what I'm saying, I gotta make sure I got some footage smoking with the homie. Cause when you rap the shit, people thinking you wellin', you know what I'm saying? They don't know that you really doing what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? So it's like once you put that visual to it, it's like, oh, all right, this nigga not just saying it, he really living what he's saying, and we able to see it. It's coming across, you know what I'm saying, on the screen. So, yeah, man, that's really the idea where it's like, okay, I'm a freestyle, but I'm really thinking about how the video is gonna come across.
Okay, do you only shoot yours, or do you have other people sometimes? Like,
So honestly, man, you know, my wife is a big help, man. She shot a couple of my videos. Excuse me. One of them I didn't release. I released it, ended up taking it back down. And the reason for that is because that was her first shoot. I think that, you know, had she had more time to prepare, it would have been a lot better. But for her first time, she did a phenomenal job. I think that ultimately I wasn't at the stage of editing that I was now. And so I trusted somebody else to edit it. And I wasn't pleased with how it came across. And so she was a big reason as to where I really started editing my own stuff. You know what I mean? When I first started, I was kind of like looking at other people to edit or whatnot. And I realized that was kind of hindering me because it wasn't my creative, you know what I mean? It was me shooting it, or, you know, she was helping shoot it, but it didn't translate as far as like how I saw the colors, or how I saw the transitions, or things like that. So she sat me down one day, she was like, look, instead of paying somebody else to do this, you know what I'm saying, you're very capable. You know what I'm saying? You should take some time to really learn this software, like you said earlier. You know what I'm saying? Really learn this software.
That's the code we did for everybody.
Yeah, man. And after that, the rest was history, man. The rest was history.
Especially working hard, get the 2 weeks off because you're sick.
I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing but time. You know, what's your excuse?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No excuses.
Where are like some of the biggest places you travel?
Oh, man. So I'm not even going to lie, man. I got 4 beautiful kids, 3 daughters, and I just had my son last month.
That's the youngest?
Yeah.
You got yours.
Yeah, I had to get my boy. So, as far as the traveling, man, I've been really kind of like keeping it DMV. Last year we did New York, we did Memphis. Yeah, that was cool. It was cool. 2-day trips, just real quick in and out. You know what I mean? Network as much as you can, and just let people know, hey, I'm here for a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So this year we plan on doing New Orleans. Like I said, I linked up with Currency last year, so I was able to build a relationship with him and his folks, and they said, hey, man, we looking for you to come out this year. I said, look, we might have to make that happen. Not we might have to, but we all gonna make that happen. So that's kind of like what I'm looking forward to this year. Chicago, San Diego. These are places where I built relationships. Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? And just really popping out on a lot of the artists that I've been talking to over the net.
Starting with the motion.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because I've planted those seeds as to where when I get there, it's like we're not connecting no more. We really working, and
I ain't calling you say, bro, look what you doing now. When I come here, hey, we talking about this already.
Yeah,
you know
facts. So yeah, man, as far as traveling, it's been hindered, but you know, once that potty training process is over and we get that set up, then I'm looking to definitely branch out and move around a lot more. Yeah, for sure.
Say, how long did it take you to develop your style in music and videography?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Shit. For the music, I would say 10 years. Honestly, I mean, because I started out doing R&B. You know what I mean? Like I had that quiet background, so I started out on the R&B, and I was realizing like I'm looking at the analytics, and I'm like, hold on, it's a lot of dudes just y'all like looking at my shit. Who am I singing to? You know what I'm saying? So that kind of like made me switch over to the rap.
You said, man, I got you wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because your analytics will let you know. A lot of artists, I'm not sure if y'all pay attention to your analytics, but look at your analytics, and that'll let you know, like, hey, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But once I saw that I had more like a male fan base, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and switch over to the rap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Keep it more G. And then I'll do like the R&B thing as like a freelance. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the homies will say, hey, man, I need somebody to sing on this hook. You know what I'm saying? So I fuck with him on that type of shit. But like my last project, I found a way to kind of infuse both. And so I think that's kind of like why I said it took me 10 years to find my sound. Because it wasn't too R&B and it wasn't too hip-hop. You know what I mean? And I felt like it was a lot of content that people who work 9 to 5s can relate to, or people who in the trap can relate to. People who live in DC can relate to it. People who live in Fairfax can relate to it. You know what I mean? So that was kind of like where I was at with that. As far as the videography, to find my own style, I would say it probably took me like about maybe 3 or 4 months. Coming into 2022, I was shooting with New Impressions, at Hashtag in Babylon out in Virginia. And so they kind of allowed me to get my practice in as far as like just working with like a larger group of talent, and then also capturing the audience as well. And I mean, I garnered a lot of subscribers on YouTube, just with shooting New Impressions. Shout out to my boy Sid Vivid Dope. He does a lot of photography with Wale. That's definitely one of the homies. Him and A-Love, they from the same hood. So I just moved to Virginia last year, September. So yeah, when I moved out Virginia, those were the 2 guys that, you know, reached out to me and was like, look, you know what I'm saying, you're not too far from what we say. You know what I'm saying, we're going to introduce you to the culture out here. Because I had never lived in Virginia prior to that. I didn't even know Virginia was like it was. Like, they from a hood called 24th out that joint. And like, shit get active. You know what I mean? Like,
every community got a community that get active.
You see what I'm saying? I think I was being ignorant to that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Everywhere you go, man.
I was being ignorant to that coming from Benning Road. I'm like, Virginia ain't got no traps. And I mean, I guess I kind of knew they had traps because you got rappers like Young Mo out Virginia and a couple other
Clips and guys and everybody.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, long story short, those guys were really hospitable and really took me around the neighborhood. Like I said, Hashtag was one of the spots. It's closed down now, man. They closed down Hashtag, but
they were trying to shut down everything out in the city for real.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy how, you know, they tried to kill the culture.
But I'm glad.
Yeah. I'm glad we was able to do the Long Live Go-Go. Shout out to Yada Yada.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Mochella. You know what I mean? That really kind of helped with the resurgence of Go-Go and really restoring that culture. Because I felt like we had kind of, not us, because we the older generation, you know what I'm saying? But like for the 18, 19, 20, 21, they really lost touch with what the DMV culture really was. You know what I'm saying? We grew up at the CFE, La Pearl, Icon. You know what I'm saying? We was in those places, so we saw a lot of that. But the younger generation, you know, they kind of missed all of that. You know what I'm saying?
I said that too, but like I also know, like I said, we got the phone, so you might not even like your own culture, so you can just grab it to another culture, just like pick up a phone.
You see what I'm saying?
You ain't gotta be there.
The
culture will to you from your phone, so you have some lingo out here. Like, oh, what you talking from out here?
Yeah.
So like that had TikToks and people other places dancing and go-go.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, I feel like if you wasn't outside like 2008 to 2012. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wasn't in your adolescence, then you really don't understand DC culture, how it is, like how we understand it. You know what
16 deep on the train.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just different, bro. Like, it's just different. So, yeah, man, it took me about 6 months to honestly get the skills behind the lens. And the first music video that I really felt like proud about was a joint that I did with the homie Don Anthony, Baby Genius, off his last project, Rearview Mirrors. And that was about a 4-minute video. You know what I mean? So like for me to not only shoot the joint,
you edited it, right?
I edited the joint, you know what I mean? And this was kind of like where I really started finding my style. The style that I would say, you know what I mean, this took me this far.
The editing, like, then you get to make it, like, I can throw that there, I can throw that
there. Right. As I'm shooting, I'm already editing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most
definitely. You ain't got to touch like, damn, you could have put that there.
Right.
Or like, man, I don't want to sit up. I ain't trying to change the word, but could put it.
Right. Now I just go in, and then I'm out. You know
do you feel like I heard you say earlier? Do you feel like could you say make the process so simple for yourself that you don't really critique yourself, but doing all these things at once, do it interfere with yourself at all? Like you like, damn, it might be 2 more video focus on this instead of rap lyrics on this?
All the time. All the time, man. You gotta find that balance, right? Because like I said, I got the youngest at home, I got the wife at home, you know what I'm saying? I still work a 9 to 5. So a lot of times it is pretty challenging. But I always tell myself no excuses, just solutions. That's a project that I dropped in 2022 back in March. And it was a 3-track project, self-produced. And basically the idea behind that is it's like, okay, everybody got shit going on. You know what I'm saying? What's going to separate you from the next man, and how is your success determined? You know what I'm saying? Because it's times I'm tired, right? But I gotta edit this video. It's times I probably haven't dropped music in a while, but I gotta make this beat. I gotta put this song together because that consistency. Because it's so easy to fall off. Because we live in a microwavable society where people are cooking shit every single second. You know what I'm saying? So how do you stay relevant? And that longevity thing. How do you stay relevant and still be able to keep this same standard of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think I've been doing pretty good with it. This year I want to focus more on like my health. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that that's intact, because you know what I'm saying, you can't have longevity if your health ain't right.
You ain't gonna
get
no growth without no health.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really where I'm at this year, man. Just making sure that I'm taking care of self, hitting that gym, focusing on the diet, so that way I can continue to make this dope content, and continue to connect with these dope people.
All right.
Yeah.
So for me, like I always like to ask people, will you be like the top 5 places you would like to travel to either shoot or go and perform at? It could be
that's crazy, man. I feel like I'm so basic because I feel like I did a lot of that.
I always tell people, don't put something in the box.
Yeah.
You're artistic, so don't put something in the box.
Yeah. I feel like I did a lot of that in 2022. So it's like, all right, what's next, right? That's where I'm at right now with this shit. Where it's like, okay, you already
met that seed right now in this universe.
You know what I'm saying?
With the 5.
5.
You can do 5 for the videos because you might want to shoot Jamaican sing, but you might don't have a Jamaican song or a reggae song.
Nah, facts. Like that. I'm gonna just come off the hip. I'm gonna keep it domestic, right? Okay. Just so it's easier for me. Definitely California, right? That's the palm trees, the beach. Like I need that to translate on screen. I definitely want to go to like Texas. I'm thinking like Houston. Really catch that like screwed up culture.
I heard Houston love. Like
you know what I'm saying? Catch those slabs. Just really get immersed in that car culture. Because being a Currency fan, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like one of the things that's always piqued my, you know what I mean, my interest. Like I said, New Orleans, that culture down there, Mardi Gras. I would love to like really just capture that. You know what I mean? That festive. You know what I mean? Like really just get that bayou.
You can shoot all day.
You know what I mean? Nah, that's definitely that's the Canal Street. You know, they do lowriders out there too. So that's 3 so far.
You got the Cali, you got the Houston, you got the New Orleans.
Yeah. I would go up east and say I want to go back to New York and really get immersed in their whole scene. Like Manhattan was beautiful. The traffic out there is crazy.
I ain't never seen double park in my life.
Man, I mean, it's crazy, man. We sat on one street for an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting to Sony Hall. So I want to go back out there and revisit that with more time and really just capture that. Shout out to the BBC store out there. They really showed us a good time. So that's 4. Number 5. Number 5 is tough. I'm gonna go out the country with this. So I'm gonna say like Greece or some shit.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like let's
sound beautiful.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when in Rome, do as the Romans. That kind of vibe. Just really getting that architecture out there, and immersing myself in the culture, the food, the drinks and shit. So yeah, Greece. Why not? Fuck it. Yeah.
Would that be the same for your rapper? The same top 5?
For the places that I would like to perform.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's talk about like festivals, right? You got your Rolling Loud, you know what I mean? The Roots Picnic, shout out to Philly. I want to do the Roots Picnic. Fucking, why not Coachella? You know what I'm saying? Not really too pressed, but just cause, why not? You know what I'm saying?
Bucket list drop.
Yeah. Shit, Wale Mania.
I heard
you know what I mean? I want to perform there. And then for the last one, shit, man. I guess anything like Art Basel, you know what I'm saying? like Miami,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of
Shopping
thing.
district.
South by Southwest.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I guess it's a tie between those two. Because I thought about that the last second, South by Southwest. Even though there's so many different stages out there and so many things to do, I want to do like the main stage kind of
thing. A lot of them come up too, like overnight. Like, I ain't Rolling Loud, I've been around a couple of years, but I never had Rolling Loud, till like the last probably 5 or 6 years, people were trying to buy tickets and rents.
I got one I just remembered. Broccoli City Fest.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
See what I'm saying? I forgot about that.
Off the homegrown.
Yeah.
I can't forget about the homegrown. Yeah. So I named about 7. You know what I mean? I went over, but you know what I mean?
On festivals like that.
Yeah.
So is there like a song video combination you did that you feel like these two are perfect together? May not be your best song, may not be your best video, but that's like those two work together.
Yeah, the joint we just dropped, Major, featuring A-Love and Big O BPC from Suland. That joint just hit different because like the hook, like I said, very simple hook, everything freestyle. I just said everything I do is so major about 4 times. And then I just went on to explain like what it is that I do that makes it so major. So essentially when we shot the video, we just kind of did like a recap of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where we just took everything that we did and just compiled it. We took some performance scenes from a show that I did at another Top Jam. Shout out to Chaz G, Top Floor Studios. That's a real talented artist out of Richmond, Virginia. He went to Howard University. I met him at Tacoma Station Tavern probably about 3-4 years ago. And yeah, man, that guy, he's phenomenal. But not to get too far sidetracked. So Major was the one that I felt like kind of like just made everything make sense because you got who we got in the joint? We got Currency, Stove God, Cooks, Bodie James is in there. We got Key Glock in there.
I said,
Goddamn, Uptown XO. I mean, we got cameos from a lot of people in that joint. So it just really just goes to show how, even on an independent level, we doing shit that a lot of people just can't do. You know what I mean?
And also fun you get a chance to show people that things are possible.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Yeah, I like making it tangible. Because a lot of people know me from the music, so they're like, damn, we seen the transition. We seen the growth. We seen how you came from Tacoma Station Tavern to being, on stage at Howard Theater with a lot of these people. So it just kind of goes to show like, hey, look, if I can do it, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't have a lot of money. I ain't have a lot of resources. All I had was just the will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I just had the hunger. You know what I mean? And just really, it's difficult because, like I said, I got 4 kids to provide for. So my hunger is a little bit different for somebody who don't got no kids, who still stay with their moms. You know what I'm saying? They don't really feel the need to, or they feel like they could, you know what I'm saying? They good. They don't have to. But for me, I don't really have no choice. You know what I mean? Like, there ain't no choice. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's fight or flight with that shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't really tell my kids, or I can't get you these shoes because, or I can't get you this because they don't understand that shit. They like, we here. You my father. Make it happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm asking you. Yeah. Person
right. So it's like,
ain't supposed to do that.
When you put in those positions, you know what I'm saying? You really going to either make it happen or you going to fold. And I'm just not that type of person to fold.
Yeah, man. So when dealing with people, they hear about you in word of mouth with the videos, you say mostly. So when people come to you, do they come to you accepting your style or wanting things the way they want it? Like sometimes you might somebody might come to you for a video and when you finish it, they be like, I want it like.
Yeah, I've dealt with that. I feel like, in my packages, I always try to reiterate that there's unlimited revisions. You know what I mean? Because me being an artist, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got some videographers that charge per revision. And then you got some people that don't revise. You know what I mean? You got to pay.
Final product.
You know what I mean? You got to pay like a nice fee to have them even retouch it. And so to answer your question, yes, people have let me know, hey, I want you to change this. I want you to change that. And a lot of times that kind of helps me with the next shoot, right? Because I'm taking in notes and I'm putting it somewhere in the back of my memory bank. So when I'm shooting for the next person, I'm like, okay, well, my last client, they didn't really feel this. You know what I'm saying? So more than likely, you know what I mean, it's something that goes across the board. You know what I mean? And I'll give you an example of that. I was doing a recap for one of my clients, and I sent it to him. He was like, I love what you did, but the transitions are just too quick.
Too fast.
You know what I mean? It's just too fast. And I feel like people aren't really able to feel what's happening.
Yeah.
I said, bet. You know what I'm saying? So now when I shoot recaps and I go to edit, I'm not even worried about that quick. You know what I'm saying? Unless they come to me and say, hey, look, your transition's too long. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm just going into it already like, okay, let me give it some room to breathe so people can really take in what's happening right here. They can really, you know what I'm saying, digest that before we move on to the next clip.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's one of those things. I come from a customer service background. I did 10 years working at Denny's. A lot of people know me from that joint, Bennett Road and Bladensburg Road. I worked at Verizon for about 3-4 years. So I have that customer service background, and when I'm dealing with my clients, I like to make sure that they know that they're first. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting their bless you, man. I'm putting whatever they want, their needs, their wants first. You know what I mean? It's not about me so much as the videographer, but how can I help you to achieve whatever it is?
Also, I don't want you throwing no salt on my name, because
I could just turn them out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Don't fuck with that. He took my money and said, fuck me. I changed for one thing. That was it. So you got any artists you would love to work with or shoot for?
Man, shit. That list is extensive.
Everybody ain't put a number on it.
Yeah. So I mean, since a lot of people that I work with this year, I guess moving forward, one of the artists that I'm really looking forward to working with this year would be the homie Larry June. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he out of San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been doing this thing for a while, man. He came up around the same time as OG Mako. Yeah. So that just shows how long he been really doing this thing. But he's made a lot of great strides on the independent tip this year. And he came to DC November 2019. I saw him at Union Stage for the first time. That was actually the first time that I ever heard Primo Rice live. So he put me on the Primo, and I was like, damn, Primo from here. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of like opened up my palette to what kind of music that we have on the East Coast as far as like that player shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of love for the trap. I will never put down trap music. I listen to that shit on the way here. I was listening to trap music. Shout out Track House Studios, Juvie. You know what I'm saying? That's the homie. I met him at Blueprint.
Okay.
But they got some good shit going on right now at Track House with Paco Panama, Smoke Chapo, 3 Karmas, KB Skywalker, all them cats. But not to go too far off track. Larry June. I think that right now, as far as on the East Coast, I mean, anybody out of the DMV is really who I'm trying to work with. Essentially, like that's kind of like who I want to cater to. You got like, man, it's a lot of people. Rico Nasty. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she always gonna come up because she's so creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like her eye, like, so I saw Rico for the first time on not iCarly. Was it iCarly? It might have been iCarly. The joint she had Cute Food in the joint.
Okay.
And they had like the water guns and shit.
Just having fun.
I'm just like, yo, like, this shit is dope as shit. You know what I'm saying?
You can sell fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think that when it comes to visuals, you really need somebody who's thinking outside the box. Cause I'm guilty of like kind of like having the same ideas after a while. You know what I mean? And so when you work with people like herself, when you work with people like Foggy Raw, he's another artist that's really just kind of like real based and more understanding that content is king.
I heard his name a couple times.
Yeah. Bro's super talented, man. And anytime I watch one of his reels, you know, it's minimal, but it does a lot. You know what I mean? It hits where it needs to hit. And I mean, I could just go on.
You probably look at it a little differently since you used to be behind the camera.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, because it's all about like the framing, the composition, the color.
You understand that, but like it's just a video.
Yeah.
People don't understand why they like it.
Right. Nah, that's facts.
I made that right enough for you.
Like, there's something about it that I don't know why I fuck with it.
I can't quite put my finger on it.
Behind the camera.
Yeah, nah, facts. I agree 100%, man. And yeah, I mean that's really it. I think, like I said, working with Currency was kind of like a dream come true for me, man. Like when I say my favorite rapper. Another person, Wiz. You know what I'm saying? That's a big homie. I gotta work with him. I gotta work with Wiz.
That's like a staff like you, Wiz, Currency. They gotta have a song together, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, put that into the universe for me,
Pittsburgh,
man.
right across the street.
You see what I'm saying? I need that in the universe. So yeah.
Smoke this.
For sure.
Might not make it to the song. Already has, right?
Yes,
I mean,
nah, facts. Hell yeah, man. Shout out to Taylor Gang. Shout out to Jet Life.
Yeah, you got anything you want to tell anybody before you wrap it up?
Shoot, man. I think for me, honestly, what I want to tell y'all is, put whatever you have in your mind, put it into action, right? Mm-hmm. Shout out to Thorn, my homie Young Thorn. He got a brand by the name of All Verb, No Convo, right? And so essentially the idea of that is that you just kind of don't really say too much. Just put it into action, and then when people see it, then they'll be like, oh, okay, this is what they was talking about. Because you don't really want to talk too much. So when they finally see it, they're like, all right, bet. Invest in yourself, right? Like, I never really thought that I would be doing videography, but once I finally saw that this was something that I wanted to do, and I started seeing like the pricing for a lot of this stuff, I was like, okay, is this really something that I want to do? You know what I'm saying? But the answer to that is yes. Anything that if it's something that's worth something, you want to make sure that you make the necessary sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? So it was a couple of days where I smoked some bottom shelf shit. You know what I'm saying? I smoked some mid. You know what I mean? I smoked the shit that most people would pass up because I understood that I had something bigger that I was trying to do. You know what I mean? Once I got my first camera, I was like, okay, cool, this is cool, but I need a better lens. You know what I'm saying? Once I got that lens, I was like, all right, this cool, but I need this. And this cool, but I need this. So a lot of money has been spent. But a lot of money has been made.
I say people don't understand you gotta spend it before you get that.
That's it, man. You gotta spend it before you get it. And honestly, like before you even spend the money, bless you, bro. Before you even spend the money, invest into yourself in YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Go on YouTube, spend those hours watching those courses. You know what I'm saying? This shit is free, bro. Like shit is free. But you gotta put in the time and you gotta really put in the work. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you do that consistently, right? Like how we said earlier, consistency. That's the key. Like discipline, consistency. You know what I mean? Having a will. You really can't lose. You know what I'm saying? Network.
Yeah, you're gonna get it one way.
Network. When you out at these places, exchange information with people. You never know who you next to. You know what I'm saying? There's a social project, social experiment where they put a bunch of people in a room and they see, you know what I'm saying, what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Some people talk to each other. Some people don't. But the people that don't, they leave out less than doubt. You know what I'm saying? They limit themselves. Because the people that talk to somebody, it was a lawyer next to them. It was a TV producer next to them.
That's how I've been like that before. He's like, I didn't know that was such. Nah, that's such.
You know what I mean? Like, you never know who you're standing next to. You never know who's in the room.
Oh, I didn't know he was that guy. Nah, that's him. He's just a regular like you.
Right, exactly. Humble. Chill.
He ain't bragging, he ain't shining. No chains. No shit.
No Rolex. Nothing. You'll miss it.
Yeah.
Because you too stuck in yourself and too like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to say be humble, right? But honestly, over the last year, I've learned to not be humble. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk your shit. Stand on your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people need to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Be confident. You know what I mean? It's the difference between arrogance and confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, just know your worth and add taxes on it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Because a lot of times when I've been in situations in my past, it's because I didn't really understand the worth that I bought. You know what I'm saying? And so I settled for stuff that I probably shouldn't settle for. You know what I'm saying? If you was paying attention last year, I ran a special for $100 videos. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people hit me up. I couldn't take everybody, but a lot of people hit me up. and they got great videos. You know what I'm saying? But I work really hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Thinking back on it, had I just charged what I wanted to charge, I would have had less clients, but I would have spent less energy, would have made more money. You know what I'm saying? So just stand on your shit, and be proud of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Any accomplishment is a big accomplishment.
For sure.
Because a lot of times people say, well, you just did this, or it's just that, but it's not just that to you. You know what I'm saying? I can go on and on, man, honestly, but
that's
you know what I'm saying? When I got y'all attention, that's really all I wanted to share.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Appreciate you.
Yeah, go ahead and tell them to find you again. Even though you said,
too
long to say.
Too long to say. Let me try to get it right this time. You can follow me on Instagram at 24FP Secondhand. Again, that's 24FP Secondhand. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to check out some music, Audio Dope Smoke, that's AUDIODOPESMOKE, Audio Dope Smoke. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Appreciate you coming out, man.
Most definitely.
And salute to you. It's your boy Sly, the guy no lie.
Shampoo, a.k.a. Big Shampoo.
Smokey Garvin, man. We out.
Appreciate you. The most artistic man I met